Me welcome Dr. Victor Rios.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a
Thank
beautiful.
you. I'm very honored to be here. I'm very touched already by these beautiful, beautiful stories. Nigel, I'm amazed and humbled to be in your presence. Thank you for showing that spirit of resilience. You know, and that's the story of many young people who live in marginality, who have been left behind, who have lost someone, who don't have, let's say, both parents, who might be in poverty. And the spirit is that universal resilience. And so, you know, we have a healthy community here in Denver. And how I know you have a healthy community is by what I was served for breakfast, okay? You know, when I have a quinoa breakfast, I know I'm in Denver, folks. And because this is a healthy community, I know that's why you're here to support Denver Kids Incorporated. So why don't we clap it up for Denver Kids? Yeah. Now I'm going to show you a slide, and I have to say that I'm not proud of any of these moments. And this is me being dragged away in high school for a gang fight. Then you see me throwing up gang signs. I'm a mess as an adolescent. And the reason I show you these images is to prove a point that we are not the total sum of the worst mistakes we have made. And those mentors and counselors that work with our children, they know that the children we work with have an asset to provide our community. That when we work with them, they will become the mayor's assistant. And later on, they will become the mayor. That's right. That's right, Nigel. You're next. You're next. And so, as we move forward with this continuum of care, if you hear Nigel's narrative, he had people in his life that surrounded him with love and positive emotional support. And in the research, that becomes a universal denominator. When you provide emotional support across institutional settings as part of a continuum of care, that's when you see healthy kids develop and thrive. And the beauty of Denver Kids and its uniqueness is its longitudinal approach, an intensive emotional connection approach. Very unique in the way in which programming is done with young people in this country today, ahead of its time. So you saw images of me getting in trouble. You know, as a kid, I didn't have a father growing up. One day I'm sitting at the park with my mom and my brother, and it's a beautiful summer day, and we're under this tree, and we're looking up at the sky, and the birds are singing, and they're flying around, and we're having such a great time, we lose track of time, and then nighttime shows up, and we start to see stars show up, but then I start getting a little cold, and I turn to my mom, and I say, Mom, when are we going home? And she says, Mijo, we don't have a home to go to. This is where we're sleeping tonight, under the tree. And if you observe the multiple adversities that some of our young people face, whether it's housing insecurity, lack of basic health care, lack of emotional support because maybe parents are too busy working or surviving, we step in as a community to fulfill some of those needs. And these children, with their own resilience, with their own assets that they have to offer the world, can continue forward. I didn't have that kind of support, unfortunately, so by high school I ended up getting in trouble and ended up in juvie 3 times for 3 felonies. I'm not proud of it, but it's important to share, because the next step after that really radically altered my life. My best friend was shot and killed in front of me, and I didn't know who to turn to. So I went to the one person that had told me she would be there for me when I was ready to change. I went to my teacher who had served a mentoring capacity for me and had created a mentoring program for me. I found her at school, even though I had dropped out already, in the hallway. She comes out. She sees me. She says, "Victor, are you okay? I heard what happened." And I'm trying to be tough, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." This lady taps me on the shoulder and says, "I know you're not okay." And right when this lady taps me on my shoulder, all my pain, all my fear, all my anger begins to grow, and I begin to cry like a little kid in front of the whole school. Here's this tough guy crying. I wanted to just roll away into the gutter with my tears and disappear from planet Earth. You know what this teacher did? She gave me a hug. She said, "Victor, I am here for you. If you're ready to change your life around, I'll be here for you, but you have to do the work." You see, supporters, educators, mentors, counselors, sometimes the environment, the young people we work with, hasn't prepared them as well as we would want them to be prepared. But one day when they're ready and we're there for them, that perfect match makes dreams come true. You see, they say that adversity makes some people break, but it makes others break records. And what Denver Kids does is it creates a foundation to produce record breakers in this community. The very same way my teacher was able to support me. Little by little, I started to catch up with my credits. My teacher connected me with some college student mentors that were resonating with who I was as an individual, maybe looked a little bit like me. And they began to tell me, "Hey, college is for you too." So I applied to college. I get accepted. I was shocked. And in the letter at the time, there was a special program that accepted you under academic probation. Well, I didn't know what academic probation meant, but I knew another kind of probation. So when I read the letter, I said, "Probation? I'm already on probation. That don't matter." And I literally thought that some guy with a can of mace was going to be following me around the college campus, folks. So sometimes the environment we come from doesn't have that opportunity to teach us the basics, right? This is what college is. It was an abstract universe for me. So it's your support of programs like Denver Kids that allows young people's horizons to be expanded and opened up. In the very same way that my mentors and my teacher was able to help me produce something spectacular with my life. After college, I said, "Man, after all I've been through, I want to get the highest degree I possibly can." So I applied to Berkeley, get accepted for a PhD program. It takes 7 years. That's normative time at Berkeley to finish a PhD. I finished in 4.5 years. In the year 2005, I became Dr. Victor Rios. So now in this kind of, you write dissertation, you write books, you go to conferences, academic, you talk to your peers in the academic world, and none of your ideas really get out. And I can just boil everything down to one idea in all my studies. And that is this idea right here. Mentor projected self-actualization. That what you do in supporting a program like Denver Kids is that you allow those mentors, those counselors to project for a young person a future that they've yet to even have imagined. It's the very same way these technologies are projecting for us these images now. You are projecting for these children a future that one day will click. My teacher, senior year of high school, when I'm getting ready to leave to college, says to me, "Victor, I'm so proud of you." I knew you could do it. One day, you will advise presidents. Miss Russ, you crazy. 2 years ago, get an invitation from the Obama administration to advise his domestic policy council on gun violence and policing in America. Show up to the White House, couldn't believe myself. I even got to shake the president's hand, and all I kept thinking was, Miss Russ, you really are crazy. So my mentors projected for me a future that I would later fulfill. And that's what we're doing in this kind of programming. We are projecting a future for young people that can become real. We are seeing them not as a threat, but as an asset. We are seeing them as individuals that will make us proud. Though I have to say, Ms. Russ wouldn't be proud of this moment here. I was in the bathroom at Joe Biden's house after having dinner with him and talking group of people, and go to the bathroom. I'm really nervous, you know. I grab one of these little paper towels, dry my hands. Grab a little stack. I put it in my pocket. Brought home a little souvenir. I've never told Miss Russ. Please don't tell her. She wouldn't be proud of me. So Denver Kids, right, in its longitudinal approach, in its continuum of care approach, provides young people keys to unstoppable futures. It projects a self-actualization where young people have yet to even imagine. But we know if we continue seeing these young people and their communities as an asset in the future for Denver and the country and the world, the work and support you do will continue to change lives. Thank you very much for being a supporter and change maker. Because of someone like you, a program that mentored me, maybe more informally in my case, I found a key. This key was that when I was graduating Berkeley on a Sunday with my PhD. On a Monday, I'm at the bank, and I'm asking for a home loan. It takes a while. Finally buy my house, get the key to the house. And I put the key in my pocket, and I drive to my mom's dilapidated apartment. I knock on her door. You know that look a mom gives you when she hasn't seen you in a while? ¿Qué pasó, mijo? How are you, son? And I'm nervous. My leg is shaking. I put my hand in my pocket. I pull out the key, and I said, Mom, I'm sorry you had to wait 30 years for this, but here's the key to a proper place to live. Thank you. You see, the work that is being done here in this community, the mentoring, the counseling, allows for young people to become independent, to become a resource to their families and their communities, to give back. You know that by investing this much in these young people today, one day they will be up here and they will give back. They will pay it forward. In the very same way that many of us who have been mentored in amazing ways by amazing people like you give back. Today, we mentor kids all around the country And that's just one person that was touched by a mentoring program. Imagine the hundreds of young people who get mentored. Then they move on. They become educated. They become an asset and a resource to their communities. So I thank you for all your support. Keep supporting. Pull out your checkbooks and write them out to Denver Kids Incorporated. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.